You're watching Talking About Orks.
In this episode of Talking About Orks, we're going to be going over the Battlewagon. The Battlewagon is a heavy support choice, but it can also be a dedicated transport for knobs and mega knobs. It is an open-topped tank with a carrying capacity of 20 models, with mega armors counting as 2 models as always. It is armor front 14, side 12, rear 10. Battlewagons are really good transports. That front AV-14 is actually quite hard to punch through, especially that first 1 or 2 turns. So it'll give you a chance to get your boys into battle quite effectively. Also, being 20 model transport capacity, there's actually quite a bit of difference between 20 models and 12 models as far as their effectiveness, both surviving the inevitable destroyed result as well as getting into close combat. It may not seem like a big difference, but 20 models is a lot better than 12. The Battlewagon is basically a blank slate. It comes with nothing, but there's a myriad of upgrades you can take for it. So let's start going over the upgrades. The first main upgrade is the kill cannon. The kill cannon is an ordnance weapon, strength 7 AP3 large blast, with a mere 24-inch range. I've been playing the kill cannon a lot, and I find it basically underwhelming. The range is a real big problem with it, as well as you can't move very far and shoot. You can't shoot anything else because it is ordnance, and the Battlewagon with the kill cannon usually becomes a very, very high priority target, so it doesn't last very long. I don't think I've ever gotten off more than 1 or 2 shots with the kill cannon Battlewagon. And it reduces your transport capacity back down to 12, so I think that's a big setback on the kill cannon. If you want to run, you can run it with an ARD case to make it a non-open top vehicle, kind of run it more like a main battle tank or a gun platform. But really, if you want to do that, go play Imperial Guard or something. You're not going to find a main battle tank in the Ork Codex. So my personal opinion is to skip the kill cannon. It's just not worth it from what I've found in my playing of it. In addition to the kill cannon, you can give it a big gun, a single big gun, cannon, lava, or zap. And you'll see in the Ork Codex it says does not include crew. That's just to clarify that the big gun is firing at Battlewagon's BS2 and not a BS3 from a grot. You can also take up to 4 big shooters or rocket launchers. So, and that's the weapon options for the Battlewagon. My favorite configuration for weapons is 1 cannon and 1 big shooter. The cannon can fire at strength 4 with the template, so you actually can run it as a defensive weapon. So you can move 6 or 7 inches, fire the big shooter, and fire a template all at the same time. So that puts out a decent amount of firepower while still moving forward at a decent rate. The other upgrades you can go over is the ARD case will make it non-open topped. The ARD case upgrade costs more for a Battlewagon than it does the looted wagon. I'm not a big fan of ARD case because that of course prevents it from being an assault vehicle. Red paint job for a mere 5 points is definitely worth it. Get that extra inch of movement. Grot riggers are not bad. They're definitely worth it if you're using it as primarily transport. Stick bomb chucka will be not a bad idea if you're running knobs. It'll save you 5 points over a full knob unit, giving them each individual stick bombs as opposed to using the stick bomb chucka. But I would never use stick bombs on boys, so it's probably not worth it if you're not running knobs. Armor plates are really good when you're using it as a transport. Keep those stuns down to shaken, and I've actually had the armor plates work very effectively. Boarding plank is something that could almost take a whole video by itself. Suffice it to say that boarding planks can be good, and they're cheap, and as I said, I could almost make a whole video on boarding planks by themselves. Wrecking balls suck, don't do them. Grabbing claws, useless, except unless you play Eldar all the time. Don't bother. The reinforced ram or death roller, both of which will re-roll dangerous terrain tests, but the death roller also provides impact hits. similar to fantasy. If you tank shock any unit, that unit takes 1d6 strength 10 hits. Armor saves are allowed as normal, and if that unit, if a model in that unit decides to do a death or glory, then you get this 2d6 strength 10 hits. Death rollers are steeped in controversy over whether or not they hit vehicles. My personal opinion is that I follow the INAT facts, and I play them as they don't hit vehicles. Most of my opponents would actually let me hit vehicles with them, but I like to stick to a consistent set of rules, so I stick to the INAT facts for a lot of things, even if they're not always right. If you want to have a rules debate over the Death Roller, there are many of those going on and have gone on over time. Hundreds of posts, dozens of pages. Check out Warseer and other online forums. I'm sure you'll find a rules debate about the Death Roller going on, as there usually is. Even at that, even if it did hit, if it hit vehicles, I would do a lot more. But basically, I don't do a whole lot of tank shocking with my battle wagons. I actually tank shock more with trucks than I do battle wagons. So, because the battle wagons are much more useful in other roles. So I don't think it would actually come up all that often. It never really came up all that often when I did hit vehicles with it. I did kill Land Raider too, so that's kind of nice. As I said, if you want to talk about the Death Roller, don't do it in my comments. Go over to Warseer and bang heads there. So anyway, battle wagons are a blank slate. You can run it any way you want. I always use them as transports. As I said, I don't think that the Orks need or want or can use effectively a main battle tank. So if you want a base battle wagon transport, you get your red paint job and your armor plates and one big shooter for a mere 110 points. You always want to take at least one weapon, just to prevent any weapon destroyed results from becoming immobilized. But I said I always take two. I always take the cannon and the big shooters because it put out a little bit more firepower that way. And if you want to get a little fancier, I always run prot riggers and armor plates as well as the cannon and big shooter and red paint job. So mine come in about 125, 135 model points per model, depending exactly how I run them. And I said I always use them as transports. I never try to do anything else with them. But battle wagons are really good. The extra transport capacity, the high armor, the open top, everything about them just rocks. Especially if you combine battle wagons with the custom force field. That's what's really broken, is the battle wagon spam under protection of that 4+ cover save wherever it goes. That's really hard to punch through on a consistent basis. And if you roll well, then you ain't going to punch through it at all, period. There's nothing you can do. You get your battle wagons up close, you dump everything out, and let them assault the battle wagons. Who cares? Your passenger is already out killing their army. So who cares if you lose the battle wagons at that point? So yeah, that's about it for battle wagons. Battle wagons are really cool. You're seeing a lot more of them, of course, not only because of the new GW model, making battle wagons easily accessible to everyone, not just converters and scratch builders, but because of the generally mechanized theme of 5th edition. The battle wagon actually is one of the better transports in the game. I wouldn't say the best. I would say I would stay. It's not as good as the Wave Serpent, but it's still up there. Battle wagon plus custom force field is still one of the best transports in the game. High capacity, assault vehicle being open topped, high armor, that 4+ cover save wherever it goes. It's kind of hard to beat that. But of course, you don't have to run battle wagons. If you don't want to run battle wagons, you don't have to. You can still stick with trucks. Or the foot slogging horde is definitely not as popular as it once was. I would assume mainly for time constraints in most tournaments, but it's still viable. But for a mechanized orc army, the battle wagon is the way to go. Battle wagons are really freaking good, and put them on a custom force field, and you're really going to aggravate your opponent. Battlewagons rock.